The architecture of the shadow, Asteroid Lilith, 1181, in the 5th house. The placement of Asteroid Lilith in the natal chart represents the integration of our most primal, independent, and unyielding instincts. While Black Moon Lilith acts as an oscillating mathematical point representing the lunar apogee and unconscious shadow work, the physical asteroid Lilith grounds this archetype into the visible asteroid belt. It reveals how we approach taboos, personal boundaries, raw passion, and the demonized or misunderstood aspects of our autonomy. When asteroid Lilith falls within the 5th house, the astrological sphere of self-expression, creativity, romance, play, and fertility, the native is called to integrate their wild, untamed passions into their everyday life. This placement brings a compelling, magnetic, and often unconventional energy to how the individual creates, loves, and presents themselves to the world. The nature of the 5th house. The 5th house is traditionally associated with the sun and the sign of Leo. It governs our inner child, our desire to be seen, our creative endeavors, and the joyful, spontaneous risks we take in love and life. It is where we let our guard down and express our truest individuality without the burden of societal expectations. When a complex and rebellious archetype like Lilith enters this arena, self-expression is rarely conventional. The native does not create or love simply to please an audience, rather, their creative output and romantic involvements become vehicles for self-assertion, boundary testing, and personal liberation. Creative expression and artistic audacity. With asteroid Lilith in the 5th house, creative energy is deeply intertwined with raw emotion, instinct, and a desire to challenge the status quo. The individual's art, writing, performance, or daily creative hobbies often touch upon taboo, hidden, or unconventional subjects. There is an innate refusal to conform to popular trends or polite, sanitized forms of beauty. The native's work may shock or challenge others, drawing out the deeper, unspoken truths of the human condition. The creative drive is fueled by a profound need for authenticity. If the native attempts to create work that merely pleases others or fits into a traditional mold, they will likely feel creatively stifled and uninspired. The truest masterpieces from this placement are born when the artist draws directly from their personal shadows, vulnerabilities, and wild instincts. Romance, passion, and the romantic rebel. In matters of the heart, asteroid Lilith brings a distinct intensity. Romantically, the individual is drawn to relationships that are passionate, transformative, and free from traditional possessiveness or societal constraints. They may find themselves attracted to unconventional partners, or they may find that their romantic entanglements involve a dynamic of power and autonomy. The native requires absolute freedom within their relationships. If a partner attempts to control or domesticate them, the Lilith energy will rebel, often resulting in abrupt separation. The challenge here is to avoid using romance or physical intimacy merely as a tool for validation or power. When integrated consciously, the 5th house Lilith empowers the native to embrace their desires without shame, guilt, or the need for external approval, establishing boundaries that honor both partners as sovereign individuals. Play, pleasure, and the inner child. The 5th house also governs play, hobbies, and the untainted joy of the inner child. With this asteroid placement, the individual's approach to having fun is marked by a deep, instinctual need to express their authentic self. The inner child may carry wounds of being shamed for being too much or too wild in their youth. Reclaiming this placement involves giving oneself permission to play loudly, boldly, and without the fear of judgment. The native finds true healing when they engage in hobbies or leisure activities that allow them to drop their protective masks and fully embody their primal, joyous, and unapologetic self. Integration and shadow work. The primary lesson of asteroid Lilith in the 5th house is the conscious integration of the shadow into everyday acts of joy and creation. It asks the individual to look at where they hide their talents or suppress their desires for fear of being rejected or labeled too intense. By acknowledging this energy, the individual transforms what was once seen as a flaw into their greatest strength. They become a force of authenticity, inspiring others to embrace their own untamed creativity and personal sovereignty. The awakening of raw creation, transiting asteroid Lilith, 1181, through the 5th house. When transiting asteroid Lilith, 1181, moves through the 5th house, the house of creativity, romance, play, and self-expression, it initiates an intense period of confronting your hidden shadows and reclaiming your sovereign power. Transits of the asteroid Lilith are not about making peace through compromise. Instead, they strip away the desire to be liked in order to reveal what you truly love, desire, and create when no one is watching. The transit experience, unveiling the shadow. During this transit, you may notice a profound shift in how you seek pleasure and validation. The 5th house is traditionally associated with the sun and the playful joy of Leo, making it an area of the chart where we often seek applause or external approval. When Lilith enters this space, the desire for superficial applause dissolves. The transit brings an urge to cast off social conventions, particularly regarding how you present your creative projects or how you flirt and engage in romantic connections. You may find yourself experiencing a sudden urge to shed approval-seeking behaviors, stop creating or acting merely to please others or maintain a polished, socially acceptable image. Confront creative blocks, break through traditional, restrictive boundaries to tap into raw, unfiltered, and deeply instinctual artistic drives. Re-evaluate romantic dynamics, feel an aversion to traditional or superficial courtship, preferring relationships with raw honesty or profound autonomy. Dynamics of the transit. 1. Creative audacity. Your creative endeavors undergo a major shift during this transit. If your art or expression has felt repressed or overly curated, Lilith acts as a catalyst. You might feel a sudden surge of inspiration to tackle taboo themes, raw human emotion, or controversial aesthetics. The challenge during this phase is to embrace your unique voice without fearing how it will be received by others. 2. Romantic intensity and desires. In love and romance, this transit can bring out the romantic rebel within you. You may encounter situations or individuals that challenge your boundaries. If you have been in relationships that demand too much compromise or dim your light, the Lilith transit acts as an alarm, demanding that your authentic desires and passions be respected. It can make you magnetic and incredibly alluring, but it can also make you highly selective and intolerant of game playing. 3. Reclaiming the inner child. The inner child plays a big part in the 5th house. As Lilith passes through, you might be forced to look at past moments where you were shamed for being too loud, too wild, or too much. The transit provides an opportunity to heal this wound by engaging in hobbies and moments of play that make you feel truly alive, without worrying about appearing perfect or dignified. Navigating the Lilith 5th house transit. To make the most of this transit, it is essential to channel its power productively rather than allowing the shadow aspects of frustration or resentment to take over. Embrace authenticity, use the heightened magnetism and intensity to create without compromise. Set firm boundaries, know your worth in romance and creative partnerships. Do not settle for dynamics where you feel invisible or controlled. Avoid sabotage, watch for tendencies to push people away out of a fear of vulnerability. The core goal is to stand in your power while remaining open to genuine connection. Subscribe, like, and share.